that. I mean, had tons of trial closes, and sometimes it's not just trial closes. It's also just getting them involvement. Say, write this down. This is one of my favorite strategies. Write this down. And here's another trial close. How many of you would like to find a way to put $3,000 to $5,000 cash in your pocket in the next few days? So as I go through these trial closes, I want you to think about it. Think about what are trial closes that you want to write down, and you want to even you want to even go through a whole go through put 1, 2, 3 for every single minute. Write down either a trial close or something you say to them to get them involved in your webinar. And Ernie was doing this at a live presentation, and a live presentation, the live seminar, you have them capture in the audience. They can't go anywhere because they're stuck there. And he's using so many involvement and trial closes. So that means that on our webinar, we should do at least that much, if not even more. And and that's something I've learned. I've learned about these trial closes. I've learned about these involvement. I've used it, but I didn't. I didn't really. It didn't hit home for me about how often I need to use it. So now I'm going to go back to my own presentation and look at my transcripts and making sure that every single minute I have something in there to get them involved and to try a close on them. Here's another one. How many of you would be willing to flip some houses to Tim Mai for a finder's fee, right? If you want your presentation, it's like some of the things that I started to tweak my presentation on recently is to let them know that the reason why I'm teaching them on this webinar and selling them on my home study course is to get them to flip deals to me. And so that's a trial close that I've used. Or if you tell them a good strategy, you can say, how many of you kind of like this concept so far, kind of like this strategy so far? Now, can you imagine yourself doing this? Absolutely. I say a lot of those. Once I give them a tip, before I give them a tip, I tell them, write this down. This is one of my favorite strategies. And then so they write it down after I said a tip. I say, now, can you see yourself doing this? Can you imagine yourself doing this? Can you imagine yourself holding this check, making this money, blah, blah, blah. So I use a lot of that. I use the word imagine a lot. Imagine is just one of those, great words that opens up their conscious mind, so that way, you can program them into the subconscious mind. Another one you can use is, how many of you understand that the purpose of this webinar is for you to flip houses to Tim Mai? Or another one would be, does this make sense to you? Awesome. So, just come up with as many as you can, and work them into your transcript. Every minute of it, if possible, and every minute of it is if possible. Every even if you can do it like every 30 seconds, 45 seconds, as much involvement as you can is good. Because think about it, okay? You're watching this webinar right now, and because I'm teaching it to you, I don't have a lot of involvement with you. I'm sure your mind is drifting away. And some of you might be guilty of this. You might be checking your emails right now. You might be typing something, doing something, and so by me involving you with these trial closes, by me telling you write this down. This is a very important a very important tip for you. Then this is how you gain their attention. Okay, this is how you gain their attention. Hold on, real quick, right here. Okay, let me see what else. So what you should do, write this down, folks, and I'll type this out for you. Let's see here. Just to give you some practice on this. Let's say you can take something like this. How many of you want to make some quick, easy? Okay, how many of you? Okay, let me do something like, how many of you can imagine, okay, and yourself doing this, okay? And I want you to do this. I want what I underline here, okay? I want you to how do I do an underline on this thing? Anyways, so instead of the word imagine, I want you to replace that with something else for me, okay? And what I've noticed Ernie Kessler did is he asked the same question, okay? Depending on his child closes. Some of his child closes, he used them like 5, 6 times in his presentation. And all he did was just change the word around a little bit. So instead of saying, how many of you can imagine yourself doing this right now? Or how many of you can imagine yourself doing this, this weekend? Okay? Okay, so instead of using the word, instead of the word imagine, I want you to replace that with something, okay? And instead of the word doing, I want you to replace it with another word. So you can speak now. Just say something. So, like, what would you replace the imagine with? Dustin, Pat, Frank,
See yourself.
Huh?
See yourself.
See yourself. There you go. See would be good. What else?
Visualize.
Visualize. That's good. So what else would you put there?
Dream.
Dream. You definitely can do that. Okay. And what would you put over here? It was, how many of you can imagine yourself doing this starting this weekend? So what would you put here? Instead of doing, what would you put?
I usually say this, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you would be willing to go out and buy things that you're already buying on your personal cards, but buy them on your business cards? I do something like that.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I guess, it has to do with the context that you're saying it in, because, like, since I haven't seen how you lead them on in the beginning, buying on your post.
Well, I guess I could say this is simpler. How many of you would be willing to go out and make purchases for your business? Because that's involving them, and that's assuming that they're going to, go out and do it.
Right. That's fine. That could be one of your trial closes. I definitely don't put that as one of the strong ones. I mean, it could be, and they don't all have to be strong ones, because buying on my business doesn't give me a benefit. I'm trying to look for a benefit, and I don't see it. And so that could be one of your trial closes, and so some of your trial closes won't necessarily, won't necessarily be strong. It's just just another questions for you to get their attention. It's more important. It's more important that you involving them constantly. Asking them questions, getting them to raise their hand, getting them to say yes, than necessarily a strong one. But to make that trial close stronger, I probably would say something like, and especially if it's a bigger, if it's a bigger item, how many of you guys, would like to be able to, would like to be able to buy things on credit and never have it show up on your personal credit reports, such as a car, a house, blah blah blah. And so the benefit is that it's not showing up on your credit report. And the benefit of not using your personal card. Oh, I know. One way to make that one effective is you gotta turn up the pain by educating them. Did you know that the minute you use your personal card for your business, that you have now broken the corporate, you now have broken the corporate, you have now broken the corporate veil, and so folks never ever again buy things on your personal credit. So you gotta educate them that buying stuff on your personal credit card for your business is a no. So then it makes total sense when you say that. Okay, and you might even want to use a story. You want to use a story if you find a case study. In blah blah blah. A couple years ago there was this entrepreneur who got sued for blah blah blah. His company got sued for whatever, and he thought he was all safe. He thought, hey, it's under my corporation. They can't sue me. They can't take anything away from me. They can only sue the corporation. And then, when court times come, the judge investigated and found out that he was buying some of the materials in his business, for his corporation, under his own credit card. And so they said that, hey, you are, I'm having a loss for word here, but you're mixing your personal money.
Are the same.
I'm sorry?
You and your corporation are the same.
Exactly. There's an actual term for this, where you're mixing your money and your business money together. And so, yeah, you and your corporation is the same. So, so they broke through that corporate veil, and so, he was fully liable. So you use a story like that to educate them and to turn up that pain, right? Like, oh, I better not do that. So I mean, yeah, this is one example, and you can go through this. You can go through this and write down as many as you can. You can even go through like my trial closes and find ways that you can replace some of this wording for your wording, and use the one that you feel is the most powerful, most impactful, for your presentation. Okay, whatever you feel that would get them, invoke that feelings, that emotions in them the most. Use that one. Okay. All right. Have you sent me your presentation yet, Dustin?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you should have it by now.
Okay, I'm not seeing it yet, so let me
Send it to my.
Okay. Here, while I'm waiting for his email to